Well, Trump's inauguration is just 4 days away, and Michelle Obama says she's not going. It will be the second time in 2 weeks that she has skipped a gathering of former presidents and a break from longstanding tradition. Now, according to The Hill, longtime allies of the former First Lady say that she is sending a powerful statement by skipping the event. They say that she wants nothing to do with a man undeserving of the presidency and is making no effort to hide her disdain for Trump. Now, one ally said, quote, "She meant every word she said on the campaign trail with every fiber of her being. And she's no hypocrite." Another said, quote, "Saving some credibility." A source also telling People magazine, quote, "There's no overstating her feelings about Trump. She's not one to plaster on a pleasant face and pretend for protocol's sake. Michelle doesn't do anything because it's expected or it's protocol or it's tradition." Now, note that her office is keeping quiet on why she's skipping Trump's big day.
People were wondering last week when we didn't see Michelle Obama sitting in the pews at the funeral for Jimmy Carter, whether she would actually attend the inauguration this week. Both of those events would have brought her face to face with Donald Trump. They said last week that scheduling conflicts prevented her from attending that event. They're not actually elaborating on why she won't be attending next week's inauguration, which I think probably tells you everything you need to know. You know, Michelle Obama has made no secret about her feelings towards Donald Trump.
So, Kevin, you can sort of look at this as a balancing factor, as it were, which is everything we just said, that perhaps it is indeed because of her feelings, while also some who argue, well, the position you occupy or that you used to occupy should rise above those feelings, and other that say it's simply none of our business and we don't know what's going on. What say you?
Well, let me preface my remarks by saying I've been to the, her White House twice, actually with Shark Tank. We shot updates there. She's a really nice woman. And Obama, nice guy. However, this is different. This is about signaling the office of the President of the United States, regardless of who's in it. This tradition has gone on for over 100 years. This is what presidents do and their wives on Inauguration Day. This is the holiest day of politics. It is the transition of power. You have to respect it. I don't like what she's doing here. I'm against it. I think it's wrong, as was it wrong for Trump not to attend Biden's. This is just wrong. This is not what we do in America. It's just not done, and I don't like it. It takes away from the institution of freedom and what the signal to the world is. Our number one export, I say this over and over again, it's not energy, it's not technology. The number one export is the American dream. That's why people come here. This messes with that.
And so, Harris, for those that say, oh, this is an act of resistance, there are many who say, well, isn't something greater than that unity and America? And therefore, yes, show that unity and, to her words, go high.
Well, yeah, I mean, show the example of what you say you're saving your credibility for. Right? I mean, if you're saving your credibility for a later moment in time, don't you want to be looked upon as someone who gave everyone the benefit of the doubt and showed up when it counted? I mean, these are once-in-a-lifetime events for most of the people who'll be in those seats. She's blessed to have ever been on the receiving end of people showing up for her husband. So what are you saving your credibility from if you're not willing to live with integrity in those very difficult moments? It's not when you love everything and everything's perfect that you show up. You show up when there are difficult times and difficult people. Otherwise, sit down completely.
Because wasn't there an argument always for radical generosity and that radical forgiveness, and that in my occupation of this position, I will show to you what that generosity looks like, what forgiveness looks like, what grace looks like? I thought that's what we were supposed to see.
Yeah, so an ABC reporter is reporting that Nancy Pelosi won't be attending. We'll wait to see if Fox can confirm that. They spoke to her spokesperson, they say. So we'll see. This tradition has been broken before. This wouldn't be novel. This wouldn't be aberrational. To your point, Kevin, they have every right to do what they'd like to do, Pelosi and Michelle Obama. Now, they have the right to do it, but it can also be the tone-deaf way to do it. When you look at President Trump, 77 million votes, won all 7 swing states, and he got the highest raw vote total of any GOP president ever. So if you're a party that's looking, I believe Nancy Pelosi wants the best for the Democratic Party, probably Michelle Obama too. I would look at it and maybe take more of a Gretchen Whitmer tone, who yesterday said, I want to figure out how I can work with Donald Trump, whether that's authentic or not. I don't know. Time will tell. I think that's the better approach than the adversarial Newsom-like approach. But again, time will tell.
Can I be honest, Jerry? You know, when I hear that about Nancy Pelosi, I'm not surprised because she ripped up the State of the Union. To me, she put her petty politics and petty feelings I saw as an American she was supposed to represent above me, who she's supposed to represent. I've never seen that from Michelle Obama. I've only seen, I thought, a grace of the position.
Well, I want to follow up on something Kevin said, because I was a poli-sci major as an undergrad. And what you learn is the moment of transition, it's the most dangerous moment for our country, right? Things could go awry. Things could go wrong. We might not transfer power. It's an important moment that everybody needs to be there to witness. It's not that you're signing on to the next group of people who are going to lead. It's that you're there to witness it.
Well, we'll see. Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.